Welcome to Advanced Makeup Tip Tuesday. I am your host, Missy MacKintosh. We have been listening to you guys for almost a year now on our Makeup Tip Tuesdays with Liana. We are so excited to be offering you a different switch up with me actually applying it on a lovely model. This is Val, and we're very excited to have her in our chair today. And so Val, what's something that you've been wanting to learn?
I'm wanting to learn how to lose my flabby eyelids.
Push those back a little bit more?
Push those back a little and actually deal with winter skin, like just my skin tone. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, let's do that. Let's jump right in. So I'm going to go into her eyes, and I'm going to start her eyes first. I'm going to go in with an eyelid primer. So what you're going to do is you're just going to apply this all the way from your lash line up to your brow. So this will keep your eyeshadow on longer. And you don't need much, just a little bit goes a long way. And I actually do my complexion after I do the eyes because it speeds up my time. And for me, it's all about the eyes. So even when I do my own makeup now, I actually go in and I do my eyes first. Okay, so I'll let you hold a mirror so you can watch step by step.
Yeah.
Oh yay! So now we're gonna go in and set this. So with Val's beautiful bronzed skin, I can't go right in just with canvas on you because what that's going to do is it's going to white you out and it's going to make your eye tone look ashy. So I need to build up this color for you to create that perfect canvas. So your canvas should be about 1 to 2 shades lighter than your natural skin tone. Okay. So I'm going to go in with shade and canvas and a tiny little bit of alluring just to warm it up. So you'll notice I'm kind of mixing this as I go. That's the beautiful thing with our art shadows is you can really custom create your own color just by dipping back and forth. Like so. So this is just our nice canvas. We can go in with our contour shade. So I'm actually going to use that same brush because it has that nice slant to it. So I have control to go into the crease. So, and where we're going to go into is you see where you have this nice line that we all have that kind of goes over the apple of the eye. That is our guide for starting. So we're actually going to start there and we're going to work our way up to just below the brow bone. So by starting on that natural guide, we're really pushing that back. Okay. Because if we start too high, like kind of like behind the eyeball, we kind of create the separation and that line isn't pushed back. And you notice I'm always starting on the outside. And really more than like just going back and forth, you want to like more like push it so you're in control. I'm just going to move this way for me. Perfect. So now you could, depending on the look that you're wanting to create, you could just have this nice shade there and call it a day. But we're going to build that up and push it back using a bit of cocoa. We're going to go in with that same brush actually because it's nice and tapered, but still fluffy. I'm going to go back on our natural guide and pushing that product over. So you notice I'm not taking this as high as what I did with the shade to create that depth. And we always want to use a matte shadow, especially for our canvas and for our shading, because anything that has a mica in it or a shimmer to it will actually push texture forward. So whether it's like a dark shimmer or a light shimmer, it's going to accentuate all those little things on our skin that we don't want to see, where matte will push it back. Awesome. How do you feel about that?
You can already tell the difference.
Yeah, hey? And do you feel like that's something easy that you can recreate?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So I'm blending and building up each layer. So you can always add, you can never take away.
do you find that the distribution of all your colors comes off your brush and you don't apply the same color? So what you've done is in your shading, if you switch to another color, will it just change the two?
Yeah, it will. Well, because I kind of blended it to the point where there's no more shadow onto that. Yeah, so I haven't picked more up and dispensed it.
Okay.
So I've made sure that it's all blended and I'm not depositing any more of that color, then I'm switching.
Okay.
So if we were to go back to a light shade though, once you've used dark, I'll just go like this on my towel or like this on my house coat. Let's be real here. Professionalize? No, I would wipe it inside the cloth.
This is real.
This is real. No, that's a really good question. So whenever you're going from like, notice I'm starting light and then building up the color using that one brush, you can't do the opposite way. You'd have to clean in between each one. So now this is a really beautiful look on its own. But to amp it up, I'm going to take that same cocoa and I'm going to apply it right at your lower lash line, or the top of your upper lash line, I should say. And I'm going to go straight up. Up, 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 up. As opposed to, back in the Mary Kay days, we were taught that you needed to do a V.
Right.
Right? And what that does is it creates this weird gap right there that's highlighted that technically shouldn't be highlighted. So if we're going straight up, this creates that proper dimension to an eye. And I'm just taking it just above your natural guide. And I'm not taking it past your pupil. Okay. And I'm always starting on the outside to build up that intensity. Making sure each layer is blended before applying more. Awesome. So you can also use these wet if you wanted a really intense pigment concentration. Oh, you took down. Up, 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 up. I expect you to say that in your head as you do this. Up, 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 up. Perfect, making sure that they're even. Now if you accidentally get one side darker than the other, you fake it till you make it. You make that side darker to balance it out. And you pretend that that was what you meant to do and you rocket it on it that day. Okay. So now that the top of the lid is done, I'm going to just go in with a Q-tip because it doesn't matter because we don't have a base on. Could go in there with a baby wipe, makeup remover, a whole washcloth. It wouldn't matter. All right, so now that I have everything cleaned up under UVal, I'm going to go in with our shade. So that same one that we used in your crease the first time. I'm going to get you to look up. I'm going to apply this underneath your lower lash line. So this just brings your look all together, finishes the eye off. And I'm pressing and pulling as I go down. So we're depositing the color and we're blending at the same time. Okay. Because we don't want to see a harsh line. Just nice and shaded. Okay. Next is mascara. So this is just a really nice day look. Just a really nice day look. So I'm actually going to explain this because I've had a couple people message me. With our mascaras, once you open them and you start pumping air into them about a week or two in, you're going to notice it's going to be clumpy on the brush. This is perfectly normal because the product expands once the air gets into it, and then it'll go back to normal once you start using it. But the trick is you'll just go like this and scrape it back into the tube. Or you can use it as liner, right, go in with a brush. So professional wise, we never use a mascara from here onto a client. We always use disposable mascara wands and single use. Sharing is not caring at this part. So I get you to lay down for me. So go to your base and wiggle up. This will dispense the product on all the lovely lashes, fanning them out. Awesome. So we're just going to do a few layers. I need to look up. Now let's say if you're like me, and you get mascara onto the top of your lid. We're going to take a dry Q-tip, let you look down for me. And we're just going to wipe it off before it completely dries. So you notice I'm not smudging it, I'm kind of like flicking it off. That's the key. Beautiful! And her eyes are done!
Wow.
Let's go in and get her complexion down. So with Val's shading, I'm actually going to use two colors, MM9 and MM8, to create that perfect shade. I'm going to apply it to the back of my hand, and we're not going to go right in with a brush, okay? We're going to control and mix as we go. So you don't need much, a little goes a long way. So by having two shades, Val, especially when you go through the winter where you get just like pigmentation, discoloration, you have the control now to go in and bring up that pigment, making it a little bit brighter in those areas, and then making it a little bit lighter in the areas that are not so dark.
Which is perfect.
Awesome. And then you'll go through it not so fast. Because you should have like your winter shade at your lightest of the light, and then you should have your summer shade at your darkest of your dark, and then you mix the two as you get lighter and as you get darker.
And I tend to go just I'm a 4-season face. Yes,
I'm a 3-seasoned. I have 3 shades.
Wow.
How's that feeling?
It feels great. It feels light and
awesome. Still allows your natural undertone to shine through.
And that's exactly what I had no words for, but yes, it does. It blends well.
Awesome.
Okay, I gotta stop looking at my face.
No, that's the best compliment you can give your makeup artist. So I'm going to go in with it just a tiny little bit more and use a smaller brush and go up underneath the eye area. So I get you to look up. As these are buildable coverage, you can use them for under eye concealer.
Yay.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the blur, just a tiny little bit to set your skin. So you can see that this makes your foundation look like a second skin. Keeps it on all along, so it keeps it on all day. And then it gives us that nice canvas to go in and do your shading underneath your cheeks and your cheek color. Because if you don't have this, that pigment is going to stick there and it's going to, you're going to have issues basically with blending that. So underneath the eye, you're just going to press that extra foundation as concealer. Okay, let's go in and give you some cheeks. So I'm actually going to use this brush because it's nice and tapered. And I have control to find your cheekbones. So I'm going to go in. You feel that hollowness right there? So that's our guide. You want to start back by the ear. So making sure that you're parallel with your brush. And we're just following your natural cheekbone straight across. That is it. We're not going down because our cheekbones don't go that way. That's actually our teeth, right? Our jaw. We're going to go straight across and following your natural bone structure. I'm going to push that back. I'm going to take just the tiniest little bit. I'm going to go underneath your jaw, right behind your ear so you don't get a disconnect. Follow it, and then blend down. So you'll notice I'm not doing like this in multiple strokes. I'm very controlled because you want the placement to be precise. And a little bit goes a long way. And that is it. Woo, mind blown. We'll do this side. So starting back by that little nub on your ear. Forward, back, underneath. So long gone are those days where everyone needs to have a perfect oval shape, right? Because that's what contouring was. Like if you had a heart shape, we would be taught to recreate the face with highlight and contour so you have that perfect oval. Those are long gone. It's all about celebrating and enhancing and empowering every single bone structure, right? I know, crazy.
It should be.
It should be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I'm going to take our You Make Me Blush with that same brush.
You make me blush.
You make me blush. And I notice I'm picking up and I am dusting off because it is very pigmented.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get you to smile. We're going to start right on the apples of the cheeks and we're going to go back.
This is a rare
Occasion.
occasion.
You
You're
blushing? I'm so honored. So apples. So think about it as the opposite way when you do your contouring. I'm right on that cheekbone now. And when you smile, when you do that apple, you're giving yourself a guide and you're not going too close to your nose.
Okay.
Right? Oh, am I making you blush? So we're gonna go and we'll do your brows now. I'm gonna use that same cocoa that I used on your eye. I'm just gonna lightly fill in your brows just to finish the look off. So again, art shadows, you can use them on your eyes, your cheeks. You can mix them with Gaia Gloss to create your own custom lip color.
I love being able to blend it and change your lip color because it's not something I just probably wear lip color when I'm going out or special occasions.
Yeah, that makes sense. And now you don't have to have a whole bunch of different lipsticks in your kit that you're not going to use, right?
Exactly.
So let's do that. Let's actually make a custom lip color for you.
Yeah.
Yay! I'm going to take our Gaia Gloss. I'm going to grab a spatula. That's what we're looking for. Okay, for on yourself, you would go right in, right? You'd actually, your best bet would be to go in with your finger, dip it into one of the colors, and then dip it in here, and then you can create it that way. Or you could do it on your palette. I'm going to go in with the spatula, and I'm going to dip into You Make Me Blush, just on my brush, like that. Boom. So when you can create any color your little heart desires. Boom. Like so.
Ooh.
Isn't that
Like
nice?
so.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same color that I have on your cheeks, just lightly blended with the Gaia Gloss. Wow. Awesome.
Ooh.
Woohoo! How do you feel?
I feel like this is a nice perk for
This is
today.
awesome! Did you learn lots?
I actually really did.
Awesome. And you feel like this is something you can easily recreate?
I think I need a little practice, but
That's
I can.
okay.
Yes,
Yes. Everything comes with practice, right?
It's fabulous. I can't believe. Like, look at my eyelids.
They're nice and pushed back.
I know. I love it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Love it too.
Highlight just in the right spot.
Yep.
I overdo that. I love it.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm so happy to hear this. Well, thank you so much, Mel, for coming for Advanced Makeup Tip Tuesday.
Advanced.
Advanced. We loved having you here.
Thank you.
And we will be looking for more models. So if you are in the Salmon Arm Shoe Shop area and would like to have the pleasure of sitting in my chair and we'll talk you through a look that you would like to learn, hit us up. Make sure you comment below and comment on a tip that you would like to learn, and we will put you on our model list. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week or so.